Okay, class, today is Tuesday, September 8th, and we're going to start comparing and ordering numbers today. So, I want you to get out your Go Math Volume 1 book and turn to page 29. If you need to pause for a second while you go get that, go ahead and pause it. Okay, so we're going to go over two different ways to compare numbers today. We're going to look at using a number line, and then we're going to look at comparing each place value. So let's start with a question up here. Unlock the problem. It says the Sunshine Skyway Bridge is 34,373 feet long. The W.K. Wilson Bridge is 32,102 feet long. Which bridge is shorter? So we want to know which bridge would be shorter. So look, keep in mind, if it's shorter, the number should be lower. If it's higher, then that means that bridge is taller. Okay, so we're going to use these symbols. Greater than would be facing to the left. The mouth would be facing to the left. Less than, that means the mouth is facing away. And equal to. Okay, so using our number line, we're going to put those numbers in the correct place. So let's start with 34,373. I can see that this number line is counting by thousands because it goes from 32,000, 33,000, 34, and so on. So they've already put it on the number line for us. Since it's 34,373, it should go in between 34,000 and 35,000. Now 32,102. It is going to be really close to 32,000 because it's only about 100 away from that. And remember, the space in between these two numbers is 1,000 because it's skipping by thousands. So right in the middle, you may be wondering, would be 32,500 because 500 is half of 1,000. So we definitely want it to be to the left of that and really close to 32,000. Now, since we have it on a number line, we can compare them. We know that numbers on the left side of a number line are always going to be lower. Because as you can see, the numbers are getting bigger as you move to the right. So they're going in order from least to greatest. Okay, so let's remember what our question asked. Which bridge is shorter? Okay, 32,102 is to the left of 34,373, so that means it is less. So now we need to figure out which way our symbol would go. If this number is less, remember the alligator wants to eat the bigger number, so we want the mouth open towards the bigger number. Okay, so we would read this as 32,102 is less than 34,373. Okay, now if we add one more number, 36,960. Which number would be the greatest on this number line, and how can you tell? Okay, well, you should be able to tell that this one is the greatest, 36,960, because it is the furthest to the right on the number line. Okay, so for the explain part, we would say 36,960 is greatest because it is the furthest to the right on the number line. Okay, so which bridge would be the longest? The longest bridge, remember, is going to be the greatest. The shortest was the one that had the lowest amount. Okay, so the longest bridge would be the same, 36,000 960. Whoops. Okay. Now in your book, we're going to go ahead and flip the page and look at a different way to compare. This would probably be the one you would use more often, and that's comparing each place value. So we want to use place value to line up the digits and see which one's the least and which one's the greatest. So our numbers that we're ordering, 34,373, 32,102, and 36,960, and we're ordering them from greatest to least. So what you want to do is line them up. See how these are perfectly lined up, each place value. What you could even do is draw your own place value chart to help you keep everything lined up. You would have your ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s. And then you can put your numbers in the place value chart just like you see them lined up here. So I have 34,373, 32,102, 36,960. So kind of like what we're doing for ABC order, we have to start from the left, and if they're the same, we got to go on to the next number to see which one's the greatest. Okay, so I see that all the first digits are the same, so I can't tell which one's the greatest or the least. So I go to the next place value. I have a 2, a 4, and a 6. Now can you tell which one's the least or the greatest? Yes, I can tell that 6 is the greatest, so that should be the number I put first because it is the greatest. Okay, so if we're going to go ahead and order them down here, greatest to least, I'm going to put that number first. Okay, now I go and all I have is these two to compare now. The 2 and the 4, which one is greater? I know 4 is greater, so that 34,373 will be the next number. Now all you have left is this middle one, so that would be your least. Okay, so comparing place values helps us to order them from greatest to least. We start from the left and we move over if each digit's the same. Okay, now if we don't have all of our digits lined up, you will get these wrong. So make sure you're lining them up either using a place value chart or just like this, like you see in step 1. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do some problems down here below. We're going to write the symbol. Remember, this one is, we would read as less than, and this one we would read as greater than. Okay, now I see these two numbers. If you can't tell just by looking at them like this, then you can rewrite them, lining up the digits like we did at the top. So I have them lined up. Remember, we want to start on the left. I see 1, we have 1,000 and 0,000. So which one would be greater? Well, 1 is definitely greater than nothing. So 1,321 is greater. So that means we want the mouth open towards that greater number. So we would read this as 897 is less than 1,321. Okay, number 2. I look at my two numbers. I can see that they're exactly the same. So they are equal. Okay, on this one, we can line them up again to help us see and make sure we don't make any mistakes. And we start on the left. I see that they're both a 1, so I need to keep going. I go to the 3. They're both 3s. Now I go to the hundreds place. Can I tell which one's greater? No, because they're both the same. So now we go to the tens place. Now I have two numbers that I can compare, a 5 and a 6. Well, 5 is less than 6, so that means this number is less, 13,751. So since this one's less, we want to make sure that the symbol, the pointy side, is going towards the smaller number. The open side goes towards the bigger number. Okay, number 4, I want you to go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Make sure you're lining up your digits to help you tell. Now once you unpause, let's check to see if you got it right. I went ahead and rewrote it underneath so they can be lined up. I can start in this first place value and already tell I have a 6 and a 4. 6 is bigger than 4, so that means 64,007 is greater than 46,007. Okay? Same thing on number 5. I want you to try that one on your own, and make sure you're reading the directions. It says to order the numbers from greatest to least. And they've separated the numbers with the semicolon. So this would be your first number, 685, if you want to write them, lining them up correctly. Second number is 3,482 and 1,907. Okay, I have them all nice and lined up. If you want to use your place value chart in your math spiral, that's fine too. So I can start on the left and already tell which one is the greatest. If there's no number there, then we can put a 0 to help us, but 0 is going to be the lowest. So we go to the 3, which is our greatest, and that would go in the front since we're ordering it from greatest to least. Okay, now I have the top and the bottom left, a 0 and a 1. I can tell 1 is greater than 0, so that would be my next greatest. And then last would be 685. Okay, let's do a couple more. And same thing, if you want to pause it to see if you get it right, you can do that and then check back and see if you got it correct. 2,597 4,698 4,689 and 3,851. Okay, so remember we start on the left and we're looking for the greatest. Well, I see 2 4s. So now we are just looking at these two numbers, but I can't tell which one's greater yet, so I go to the next place. Now they're both 6s. Can you tell which one's greater? No, so we have to keep going to the right. I have a 9 and an 8. Now we can tell 9 is greater, so that is my greatest number, 4,698. You can mark that one off your list. Now, this one has to be next because it starts with a 4. The other two start with a 2 and a 3. So 4,689 would be our next greatest. Mark it off. Now we're just comparing the 2 and the 3. Remember, we're looking for the greatest number. 3 is greater than 2, so that would come next. And last would be 2,597. Okay, now we're going to practice the same strategy, but this time we're going to put them in order from least to greatest. 32,090. 31,390, and 32,009. Okay, now I'm going to start at the left. They're all 3s, so I can't tell which one's the least. I need to go on to the next place. I have a 2, a 1, and a 2. Now I can tell which one's the least, the 1. So this number needs to be the first one, 31,390. We mark it off our list and we keep going. We have a 2 and a 2, so I can't tell which one's the next least. So I keep going. 0 and 0, they're the same, so we'll have to keep going. 9 and 0. Now which one's the least? 0 is, so that would be our next number, 32,009. And then 32,090 would be the greatest. Okay? Last one, 68,006, 47,891, 24,962. And we have them all lined up, and we're looking for the least because we're going from least to greatest. So I have a 6 and a 4 and a 2. I know that 2 is the least, so this number needs to go first. 24,962. Okay, now I just have the top in the middle. 6 and 4. I know 4 is lower than 6, so that is my next number. And then last, 68,006. Okay, now let's go over to this page. We're going to do a couple of the challenge problems, just like we would if we were in class, because you will see some like this. It's not any harder, it just requires an extra step. So, looking at number 9, I see they have 1,385, and on the right they have expanded form. So we're going to just add these up like an addition problem. 1,300. 30 plus 105. It's really important that you write neat and line these up correctly, otherwise you will get them wrong. So we have 0 plus 5, 0 plus 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, and then 1 plus nothing is 1. So now I am comparing 1,435 to 1,385. Since they both go to the thousands place and they both have a 1 in the thousands place, I'm going to go on to the hundreds place. 4 and a 3. Now, 3 is less than 4, so let's think about which way our symbol needs to go. If 3 is less than 4, then that means the smaller pointy side needs to be pointed towards that 3. And the big mouth needs to be pointed towards the bigger number, the 4. Okay, so same thing on number 10. You have a standard form number on the left, but then you have some expanded form over on the right. So all you need to do is add these up. 20,000 plus 100 plus 4. So this number actually ends up being 20,104, and we have the same exact number over on the left. So what symbol should go in the middle? Equals. Okay. Now last one. This is a challenging problem because you're having to fill in these blanks and figure out what order it's going in based off of just the two numbers they give you. Okay? Is it going least to greatest, or is it going greatest to least? Well, if I have 6,010 in the front and then 5,060 at the end, And what happened to get to this number? It got lower. So I know that the next number after 6,010 needs to be lower because the numbers are going from greatest to least. But the number can't be lower than 5,060. So we can pick any number as long as it's higher than 5,060 and lower than 6,010. So let's just say 5,400. Okay? Now, since we're going greatest to least, this number in front has to be our biggest number, bigger than 6,010. Okay, so we could do 7,281, any number, as long as it's bigger than 6,010. Okay, last one, 13,005. They skipped a number, and then we have 16,475. So just by looking at these two numbers, you should be able to tell that 13,005 is getting bigger as we go to the right because 16,475 is greater. So the order is going least to greatest. Okay, so this should be your lowest number and the end should be your greatest number. So let's start with our greatest number. I just need to make sure that it is bigger than 16,475. So we could do 17,190. There's a lot of numbers we could have picked, so it doesn't really matter what you put there as long as it's bigger than this. Okay? Now for this number, it gets a little bit trickier because we have to make sure it's bigger than 13,005 but lower than 16,475. Okay, I'm thinking of the number 15,000. Is it bigger than 13,005? Yes. So this one is still the least. Is it smaller than 16,475? Yes. So we're still going in order from least to greatest. Okay? Now for part of your assignment today, you're going to go to page 33, compare and order numbers. So first let's do a couple of word problems because you will have word problems in your assignment today. And you will be looking at some numbers on the number line. Okay? So let's practice some word problems and then you guys will be on your own to do your assignment in Seesaw. So number 16 says, during a football game, fans bought 8,542 bags of popcorn. They bought 5,398 pieces of fruit. They also bought 7,208 sandwiches. Which shows the snacks in order from least number to the greatest number? So that's important. We need to go back and underline the important information or circle. We want to go from least to greatest. And notice down here they're not doing the numbers, they're doing the item. So it might help us if we put the numbers down here, 8,542, and then we label it as popcorn. The next number was 5,398, and that was pieces of fruit. 7,208, and that was sandwiches. And remember, we want to put these in order from least to greatest. So first I want to start by finding my least number. I have them all lined up correctly, so I'm going to start on the left-hand side. I have 8, 5, and 7. I can tell that the 5 is the least number, so that should go first. Fruit. So now I'm going to go ahead and look at my answer choices and start eliminating the ones that don't have fruit in the front. I see that A has fruit in the front, B does not, so we can eliminate B. C has fruit in the front, D does not, so we can eliminate D. So now we go back to our numbers. Let's see which one would be next for least to greatest. So I have an 8 and a 7. 7 is going to be lower than 8, so that would be our next number from least to greatest. So sandwiches should come next. So I see fruit, popcorn, sandwiches, fruit, sandwiches, popcorn. So A is correct. 17. Now I want you to go ahead and pause and finish 17, 18, and 19 on your own, and then unpause it to check and make sure you got these correct. Now if you were at school, this is exactly how we would do it in class. I do a lot of practice with you, and then I give you a chance to do it on your own. Okay, number 17, it says Nina needs to know which is greater, 41,381 or 35,927. Which place should she look at first to compare the numbers? Okay, so remember, we want to line them up. They both go to the same place. Now we just need to figure out what place it is. So we start from the left-hand side, and we're comparing these two. So let's review our place values. This will be the ones place, the tens, the hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So the place you should look at first to compare the numbers would be the 10,000s place. And I see that answer choice here, D. Number 18. Luke's book has 182 pages. Elena's book has 208 pages. Corey's book has more pages than Luke's and fewer pages than Elena's. Which could be the number of pages in Corey's book? Okay, so I want to go ahead and put these numbers down. 182 was Luke. Elena's book was 208. Corey's book has more than Luke's and fewer than Elena's, so it has to be right in the middle. More than Luke, but less than Elena. Okay? So let's think of a number that's greater than 182, but can't be greater than 208. Okay? So I know any number greater than 208 is wrong. Okay? It can't be greater than 208, so I can already see two answer choices we can eliminate. 210 is too big. And then same thing with B. 224 is too big also. Okay, so now we have A and C. Which one could go right in the middle? Well, A is too low. It's 179, so that means it would actually be over here to the left because it is the least. So 194 is the only one that is greater than Luke, but less than Elena. Okay, and the last one. The dolphin exhibit had 5,346 visitors in the winter, 4,437 in the spring, 6,107 in the summer, and 5,275 in the fall. In which season did the most visitors go to the exhibit? Okay, so the question is asking us for which season did the most visitors go to the exhibit. So we're looking at our numbers and we want to know which number is the greatest. Okay, I have them all lined up. I'm looking right here in the thousands place. I'm looking for the most, so the greatest number. 5, 4, 6, 5. I can tell that 6 is the greatest, so this number is our greatest. Now we want to make sure we go back and find which season that is talking about. 6,107 was in the summer. Okay, and that makes sense too when most visitors go in the summer when they're all out of school and have all that free time. Okay, so remember when you're doing your assignment today, you can line up your digits using a place value chart to tell which one is the least and the greatest. When you get to problems like this, you make sure that you add up this side first before you start comparing them. Okay, so this is your assignment today. You can leave it in the book or you can tear it out, but what you want to do is take a picture of your work on the front and on the back and submit it in Seesaw.